From blazing infernos to high-stakes rescues, Chicago Fire has captured the hearts of fans with its intense action and gripping drama. But one question burns in the minds of loyal viewers. When will Taylor Kinney return to the hit show? Have you heard the gossip about Taylor Kinney? Apparently, he's been the talk of the town this year. The dude's leaving Chicago Fire, and nobody knows when he'll be back on our screens. And get this, nobody knows why he's leaving either. Fans are going crazy trying to figure out what's going on. So from what I can gather, it seems like Taylor Kinney might make a comeback to Chicago Fire eventually. But nothing's been confirmed yet. And honestly, that's got us feeling a little uneasy. I mean, what if he decides to take a whole season off? What are we supposed to do without our weekly dose of Kinney hotness? But hey, on the bright side, maybe he's considering another gig on a different show. While we wait for his return, who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us with a completely new role that we never saw coming. Either way, we're all dying to know what Kinney's got up his sleeve for the future. Well, as far as I know, the Vampire Diaries star hasn't announced a new show yet. So who knows? Maybe he's got a movie up his sleeve. I mean, he's definitely had some big screen success with movies like Zero Dark 30 and The Other Woman, but he's mainly known for his work on television. The 41-year-old has won over millions of fans with his roles on shows like Chicago Fire and The Vampire Diaries. But who knows? Maybe Kinney is taking some time off to focus on other things. Or maybe he's keeping his new project under wraps for now. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what he's got planned for the future.
Captain says we're going to bring the victim down right now, wire and all. Grab the bolt cutters and head up on the roof.
Ready, Lieutenant? Go for it.
But of course, there's one character that everyone loves him for, Lieutenant Kelly Severide. Kinney's most iconic roles to date are undoubtedly his characters on Chicago Fire and the One Chicago franchise. He's been exclusively working on the One Chicago franchise since the Chicago Fire pilot aired in 2012, and he's been playing the character of Severide ever since. That's over a decade of portraying the same character, which is no small feat in the acting world. It's no wonder he's near the top of the list when it comes to actors who've appeared in the most One Chicago episodes. I mean, he's been a constant presence on our screens for so long now that it's hard to imagine the franchise without him. Kinney's dedication to his role and the franchise as a whole is truly impressive, and it's no surprise that he's become such a beloved part of the One Chicago family. So naturally, the fans want him to make a comeback, but looks like we've got some bad news. From the looks of it, Kinney won't be making a pivot and playing a different character on another TV show anytime soon. Despite his upcoming leave of absence from Chicago Fire, he hasn't made any plans to appear in other projects. So once his personal matters are taken care of, he'll be back to his role as Severide on Chicago Fire. And I'm sure fans are counting down the days until his return. It's always great to see an actor so committed to a project and a character that they've become synonymous with it. We can't wait to have Kinney back on our screens and see what he brings to the table next on One Chicago. Speaking of him making a return, how did the show reveal his leave? Turns out Chicago Fire fans have known for a while that Taylor Kinney would be taking a leave of absence from the show at some point in 2023, and the first episode without his character, Kelly Severide, recently aired.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's losing a lot of blood and the medics can't work on him until we get him out of that mess.
The episode titled Damage Control finally revealed how the show would say goodbye to Severide for the time being, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. The first clue that something was up came when Stella appeared despondent in the loft before heading to Firehouse 51 alone. It was later revealed that Severide had been offered a last-minute opening in the world's best arson investigation training program, recommended to him by Van Meter. While it's good news that Severide's exit from the show isn't a worst-case scenario, it's still sad to see him go for the time being. Hopefully the training program will benefit his character in some way, and he'll come back better than ever. Severide could have said no to the arson investigation training program, but he agreed off-screen and has left Firehouse 51 without its squad lieutenant. Although Bowden wasn't thrilled about Van Meter recruiting Severide away, it's a relief that Kelly's absence isn't due to something more serious. obvious. It looks like he's just off to Alabama for some training. While that's all fine and dandy, there's something that's giving fans a lot of hope.
Put the knife down and get the hell out of here.
The fact that his absence is not related to an injury, it's definitely good news. I mean, he'll probably have to return from the training, right? And also, it's great that he's been given this opportunity to participate in a prestigious arson investigation program in Alabama, which could potentially benefit him and his career in the long run. It's also exciting to see the show exploring new storylines and scenarios for his character, rather than going for the predictable route of an injury or illness. Unlike Dawson and Casey's situations where they were relocating to a different city, Severide is just going away temporarily for the training program. There's a good chance that he'll be back sooner rather than later, with new skills and knowledge that could be beneficial to the whole department. The fact that there's no expectation of him being gone for years or forever is definitely good news for fans of the character and the show. It leaves the door open for his return in the near future. But while there's good news, there's bad news as well. One of the downsides is that Severide's absence means that the squad has lost a key member. It's not just that he's the lieutenant, he's also one of the most experienced firefighters at 51, with a wealth of knowledge and skills that can't easily be replaced. While the other members of the squad are more than capable, Severide's absence will certainly be felt. And while we can hope that he'll be back soon, there's no guarantee that things will go smoothly in Alabama, and his absence could end up being longer than expected. While it's understandable that fans want to know when Severide will return, it's important for Kinney to take the time that he needs, and for Fire to prioritize his well-being. In the meantime, the show will likely explore how 51 functions without Severide, and how his absence affects the other characters, which could lead to some interesting storylines. And of course, the fans are the first ones to come up with the spiciest ones. According to Twitter, fans are now convinced that Severide is written out of the show. His wifey, Stella Kidd, is going to heat things up with her colleague, Sam Carver. The rumors have been simmering for a while, especially since Carver's been crushing on Stella all season. But fans are not having it. One Twitter user wrote, "If Carver and Stella get together, I swear, I'm gonna go all Severide on their butts. They better not mess with my Stella ride, or I'll unleash the flames of hell." Well, guess we gotta wait and watch. In the meantime, fans of Chicago Fire will have to turn to Peacock Premium for their fix for a while. Season 11 is taking a little break and won't be back on NBC until March 22nd at its usual time slot. But hey, at least we've still got Chicago Med and Chicago PD to keep us company until then. And that's all I had to say about Taylor Kinney and his departure.